Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Bettendorf City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 at 7 o'clock p.m. Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Adamson.
Here.
Brown. Here. Connors.
Here.
Nauman.
Here.
Sexer.
Here.
Baden.
Here.
Webster.
Councilman Webster called me and told me he sends his regrets. He's got a family emergency he's dealing with, apparently, so he will not be here tonight. Okay, now if you could all please rise, remove any caps or headdresses you may have. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be followed by an invocation given by Bettendorf Police and Fire Chaplain, pastor of Asbury Methodist United Methodist Church, Pastor Tom Carver. Remain standing for our invocation, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Tom.
Mayor Gallagher, I saw the video you posted last week about the council going to the League of Cities
Yes, sir.
and the benefits of gathering with and learning from people of other communities who are united in a common cause of serving their citizens.
And we met a couple of people and even broke bread with some of those with whom you used to serve.
From
Shoeyville, baby.
Big town, yes. So in that spirit, I'd like to offer this invocation. Thank you. Loving God and heavenly parent of us all, we seek your guidance for the issues that are before us this day. May we be honest about our own perspective while being gracious and respectful of those who see things differently. May we be united in our common cause of serving the citizens of our community, along with all of the other communities that make up our state, our nation, and your world. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Pastor. Always nice to see you, sir. All right, we do have a proclamation today, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, October of this year, and for that we welcome our own IT manager, newly hired. Monty Sankson is here. Monty, come on up to the front and we'll do the proclamation. Sir? How are you? Very good. Good. Thanks for being here. All right, I have a proclamation from the Office of the Mayor. Whereas the City of Bettendorf recognizes that it plays a vital role in identifying, protecting its citizens from, and responding to cyber threats that may have a significant impact on our individual and collective safety and privacy. And whereas critical infrastructure is increasingly reliant on the support of information systems and technology. And whereas cybersecurity education and awareness are crucial for everyone, including large corporations, small businesses, financial institutions, schools, government agencies, the home user, and anyone who connects to the internet, be it with a computer, mobile phone, or other internet-connected devices. And whereas maintaining the security of cyberspace is a shared responsibility in which each of us has a crucial role to play, and awareness of essential cyber hygiene will improve the service of the City of Bettendorf's information, infrastructure, and economy. Now, therefore, I, Robert Gallagher, the Mayor of the City of Bettendorf, Iowa, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Cybersecurity Awareness Month and declare the City of Bettendorf officially a cybersecurity awareness champion.
Here, here.
Bonnie, thank you very much. We'll get a quick picture. Oh, yeah. Let's go right back over here by Ryan. All right, Monty, you have the floor. Tell us what we're up to and what we all need to be aware of.
I'm so excited everybody came out just to see this. All right? I appreciate that. It shows the importance of this. First, I want to thank Mayor Gallagher for recognizing the importance of cybersecurity these days and implementing the proclamation. That recognition that it's not just important for the city, but for all of the citizens as well. And I'd like to thank the City Council for their ongoing support of the city's cybersecurity initiatives to make the city and the citizens as secure as possible. And lastly, because I know you all have a lot of other things to talk about, I just want to encourage the folks in the audience and anybody that might be watching, register or follow the City of Bettendorf on your favorite social media channel Throughout the month of October, we'll be sharing some cybersecurity tips and tricks to try and keep you and your families safer at home. So thank you.
You were coming tonight, I changed my password today. Okay. Public requests of council. If you're here on an issue not already on the agenda tonight for a public hearing, so the pool and the YMCA issues are on the agenda for a public hearing. So if you want to speak, you'll speak at those public hearings. Anyone else who wants to be heard on an item not already on tonight's agenda can be heard by approaching the podium in the back. Please state your name and your address. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like you to keep your comments to 2 minutes if you can. Please try not to be repetitive. Please refrain from outbursts like clapping or hooting or yelling, and be respectful with your comments. Now is your time to address council and tell us what you'd like to see change or what you'd like to see different at public requests of council. Is there anybody here to be heard? Skip, you came down to watch?
No, I want to talk.
You're gonna talk about the pool? Okay, perfect. You're listening, Skip. We love it. All right, we're going to close public requests of council then, and we will move to our first public hearing. This is with regard to the lease of certain city-owned real property and a shared use agreement with the YMCA of the Mississippi Valley. Thank you, Brad Martell, for being here. Thank you for your board and the work that we've been able to do together. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. Michelle, did we publish notice of this public hearing?
Yes, we did, Your Honor, and I do have affidavit of publication.
We have received lots of written correspondence with regard to the same, and we've disseminated all of that, I take it?
We do. I do have approximately 30 pieces
Okay.
of documentation here.
All of that we've all seen.
Yes.
You've sent it to us.
Yes.
Nothing new came today that we haven't seen?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of.
All right. Let's open the public hearing with regard to the shared use agreement with the YMCA of the Iowa Mississippi Valley. You can certainly talk if you want about the Life Fitness Center, which is the next public hearing, or you can save your comments till then. I think to us, public hearings 6 and 8 have been kind of presented together, so I'm not going to care when you do it. Keep your comments to a couple of minutes if you can. Please try not to be repetitive. Know that if you're one of the 32 or so people that sent us the correspondence, we've read it. If you've talked before us, we've heard it. No real need to continue to belabor the point that you tried to make. If you have a new point, certainly feel free. Skip's here. Hi, Skip. Tell us your name and where you live.
My name is Skip Saldivar. I live in Bettendorf at 2738 State Street. And my comment is, all I see up there off of where the swimming pool is, they got the lights on for the, they got them all set up to where the ice skating ring is. They got those all set up. And I don't see any more advancement in that. Of course, we don't have the weather for ice. And I'm certain that Decker's got everything under control. And that's about it.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you, Skip.
Skip, it'll be ready to skate November 25th, I believe is the date, so we'll see that you have a pair of skates.
Go for it.
Go right ahead, Matt.
Mayor Gallagher, city council members, I'm asking each one of you to vote no to the shared use agreement with the YMCA.
Hey, Matt, give us your name and address real
I'm
quick.
sorry, yes, Matthew Ledden, 3075 Willowwood Drive in Bettendorf. Thought I said that once or twice since I've been here, so.
No problem. Go right ahead.
There's many reasons why each one of you should vote no to the shared use agreement. The first reason is that the city will be spending millions of dollars on a pool that it won't even control. Over the years, Splash Landing has offered many wonderful swim activities for the citizens of Bettendorf. Why would the city want to give up control of that? Several years ago, Davenport West and Davenport North high schools entered into similar shared use agreements with the YMCA. Each school got a wonderful, beautiful pool. However, each school has difficulty using its own pool because these pools are under the control of the YMCA. Swimmers from the swim teams of both schools have to go to Davenport Central High School to use their pool because it's the only pool that is not under the control of the YMCA in Davenport. Second, the shared use agreement will benefit YMCA members at the expense of the citizens of Bettendorf. It is my understanding that Y members will be able to use this new pool for free, but citizens of Bettendorf have to pay to use it. In fact, I think families have to pay $20 each time they want to use the pool. How does that benefit the citizens of Bettendorf? Also, the citizens of Bettendorf will have difficulty accessing this pool. I mean, it's a free pool. Why members from all over are gonna come down and use the pool? There will be hardly any parking. There'll be long lines to get into the facility. There'll be no lawn chairs to relax on. The pool will be absolutely packed. How does any of that benefit the citizens of Bettendorf? And third, and most importantly, the shared use agreement is directly tied to the sale of the Life Fitness Center to the YMCA. Now, I know that this agenda is not the appropriate time to talk about this right now, but it's a fact. It's directly tied. And so I'll save my remarks on that for next time, but I'm urging each one of you to vote no to the shared use agreement with the Y. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Nice to see you. Who's next?
Jack Hermy, 2614 Avalon. I have a question of interest for the city of Bettendorf. Why can the city of Rock Island successfully operate a fitness center and the premier city of Bettendorf not be able to do the same? I'm going to answer my own question. The city of Rock Island has encouraged the citizens to use their facility. The city of Bettendorf has discouraged our citizens through their negative actions. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Hi, my name is Bob Armbrust, 3369 Southampton Drive. Just want to be brief, mention a couple points. I'm a public accountant, CPA, and small firm here in Bettendorf. One of the few times I was outside of the public accounting work area, I worked for the President Riverboat Casino. This is in the early 90s, and not quite the same as the city, but at one point, 94, I believe, they had us go up and we had to make phone calls. I was in the GL, General Ledger Department, and we had to solicit and make phone calls to approve riverboat gambling for the Quad Cities. And so my question to the city council, where's the vote? Why don't, if this is such a great idea, why don't we vote on it? Number two, I fall on the tennis side, but there's a lot of people here that play pickleball, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it. Pickleball is a big deal. In my own little non-technical poll that people would come into my office, past couple of months, I asked about, okay, pickleball. Well, they either play it, their friends play it, their kids play it in school. It's a nice amenity to have for the city of Bettendorf residents. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chuck Mahosky, 2259 Hawk Drive in Bettendorf. And I haven't said anything at previous meetings. I really didn't know how I wanted to approach this. As you can see, I wear the uniform of a tennis player. Just got done playing for an hour and a half at the fitness center. And we love that facility. We absolutely love that facility. Does it need some improvements? Absolutely. But could we make a go of it there? Absolutely. It's just a shame that we're gonna let that slide and lose that forever. Now, what I was more concerned with is the water park seems to be such a big thing. I'm thinking, what's this gonna do long-term? So I thought, you know what, I used to live down in the Peoria area when I got out of college. I lived in East Peoria for a while, and after we moved away from there, they built a beautiful water park down there called Splashdown, something like that. It was built in the mid-90s for about $3 million. $3 million. That's about a sixth or less of what this is gonna cost. And the first 15 years or so went pretty good, very popular down there. And the city got all the revenue. And after about 15 years, they started losing money on it because the maintenance issues outweighed the revenues, almost to the tune of $100,000 a year. Now, I know that doesn't sound much, but we're gonna be getting zero revenue. The only one that stands to gain from this is the YMCA. So, after 4 years in a row of losing over $100,000 average, then came the last year, 2017, and they found out that this beautiful water park needed a new filtration system. $500,000 after losing $400,000 the previous 4 years. And the city said, we cannot justify spending that kind of our taxpayers' money to keep that going. So what they did in turn was shut it down, and now it's costing them $3 million to tear it out. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, this is costing a group effort of 18, who knows how many more $1 million to build this facility. And what is it going to cost the city down the road? We got a 20-year commitment. And that means they want to make money there for 20 years. We're going to have to keep it going. That could cost the city dearly, dearly. I may not be here then. I don't know how many of you are going to be here then. Let's hope all of us. But this is not a winning proposition for the citizens of Bettendorf. It is a long-term nightmare. They knew it wasn't going to last forever, and I'm sorry for going long, but all good things come to an end, and it's going to cost us in the long run. All for the $300,000 a year that we're losing at the fitness center. We could make it go. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tom Albertson at 2973 Halcyon Drive in Bettendorf. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this public hearing tonight. I've been a resident of the city for about 40 years. And in all that time, I've never had a reason or motivation to contact my city council member, Bill, in this case, or to even participate in public information meeting or public hearing until tonight. And I suspect that may be true of a lot of the folks that are here tonight, that generally very satisfied with the city and think with the leadership, both from the mayor as well as the city administrator, doing a bang-up job. But it is possible from time to time to kind of drive off the road a little bit. I think that's where we're at here tonight. 3 areas I'd like to cover, the fitness center, the skating area, and the pool. Starting first with the fitness center. Of course, I'm here to support retaining the Life Fitness Center and not selling that asset to the YMCA. And I, like most of the people here, are seeking your support tonight for that very position. Just a few things regarding the fitness center. My first point, it's a large building. It's a very strategic asset, and I'm surprised the city would contemplate parting with that asset, particularly after having it for 35 or 40 years. It's a beautiful facility in terms of indoors, and it's in a plum location, very close to the center of the city, so very convenient for residents to come to that area. And it provides a lot of flexibility for the recreation department as well. In fact, I was surprised to hear that in 2021, there's about 122,000 separate turnstile visits to the fitness center. And the city has an outstanding recreation program. There's something like 35 different programs. There's waiting lists and trouble getting into to many of those. And of those 35, it sounds like there's about 13,500 individuals that participate in those various programs. And about half of those are indoor facilities. Now, I know the mastermind thought was to move a lot of these indoor facilities down to the community center, but that's a big step backwards. I think anybody that would compare the two facilities, even though the Life Fitness Center probably could use some upgrading, it's a pretty decent building. The community center is not that. And that's not exactly where I think you'd want to be dropping kids off, and it's just an old building, and it's had its better days. So anyway, in closing on the Life Fitness Center part of this, it's a large indoor facility. And I got to believe cities would just kill to have those types of facilities available to do a number of things beyond even the recreational programs. Number two, on the skating project, I think that's a great project, and I'm supportive of that. I think the skating rink is a wonderful thing. I'm not a skater myself, but every time I drive by there, I think what a great place. And think that's the star of the proposal that folks are considering here tonight. And finally, the pool. I just learned a few things interesting about YMCA operations from some of the other participants. Also learned something interesting about City of Peoria and the concept of upfront costs and costs down the road. Nevertheless, I'm not opposed necessarily to the idea of the pool, or I'm sorry, not opposed to the idea of the pool being constructed and proceeding with that part of the project, as long as it's not predicated on the sale of the fitness center. But I do have to wonder, is it really the best use of the money that we're spending there for a facility that's only open 3 months a year? And even though there are time limits, I imagine, associated with the money that the city's putting forward, that there probably are other things that that money could be used for, that could be more of a 12-month-a-year thing rather than a 3-month-a-year thing. The 20-year contract's also kind of an interesting concept. It's a long time frame and subject to time-induced unintended consequences that the passage of time will bring about during the term of that contract. So in closing, I'd like to ask that you not approve the pool facility tonight, but instead direct the staff to get back to the negotiating table with the Y if the pool is to proceed, and work on a deal that doesn't include the sale of the fitness center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Who's next to speak?
Good evening. I spoke before and I'm back again. My name is Ann Stern. I live at 1451 Berryfield Court, and I appreciate the time and the forum to speak this evening. I was composing my thoughts. It's 2 minutes so far, Father.
You're doing fine, hon.
All right. I'm overwhelmed, first of all, at the lack of transparency that has occurred with our city council, our mayor, and our city administrator over the last 10 months. For me, finding out information, bits and pieces, it all started with a series of events. First of all, was the YMCA found out they could no longer use TBK for their youth programs. Secondly, the sale of a very old community center, which we all knew had seen better days, fell through to its proposed buyer. So the opportunity to finally get rid of the Life Fitness Center began being discussed. For me personally, I didn't hear about it unless I was hearing bits and pieces from other people. I found out early in the winter, I would say January, February, that some of the staff was contacted that the Life Fitness Center was going to be sold to the YMCA, and they were told, please don't talk about this with others because we don't want it to get out. And there were numerous people I heard that from. And for me, I thought, how unethical is that? Putting, for me, the dedicated Parks Department staff in a situation that they were told to keep quiet about. And I know we had discussions about that the one night at the Waterfront Center, Decker. And beyond that, it just went from bad to worse. Rumors first were circulated that The pool sale had not gone through, rumors that the fitness center would be sold to the YMCA, but activities would be able to continue. So not until I walked in here at that August 16th meeting, which I felt was a huge media blitz night, did all the plans get revealed to the public that there would be no more Life Fitness Center available for its current adults, families, and children on a regular basis. No more tennis, pickleball, fitness center classes, weight rooms, machines, equipment, sports teams that use and rent the fitness center, and Saturday morning kids programs, which I often see kids there for various activities. Then on to the so-called survey, which I felt the survey was missing the all-important question, are you in favor of closing or selling the Life Fitness Center? But instead, it consisted of two deep-reaching questions. Do you live in Bettendorf? And which amenities in Bettendorf do you use? So unless you went on to make comments, I didn't see the information that was coming out of this survey. I personally questioned a lot of my fellow fitness center people, even people that weren't at the fitness center. Have you heard about the survey? And most of them said, what survey? In addition, the city said we could look up all the responses from the survey, and I saw a majority of the pro comments about, moving on and getting the pool and everything, but I didn't see a lot of my comments or shared comments that other people made. So in closing, I just feel misrepresented by the council and the city administrators. I know several of you, I so appreciate you taking time to call me back. I believe 5 of the council members did call me back, and we had good conversations about what I felt was important for our city. I would have graciously supported a brand-new pool and ice rink, but not at the expense of throwing the Loyal Fitness Center patrons out. My final question for you is, are you really listening, and do you care? Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Ann. Good to see you. Who's next?
Donna Noble, 1317 Elmore Avenue. I'm here to support the Life Fitness Center, and I request that you council members vote no tonight to selling it to the Y. My first part of my presentation is kind of a ditto of what Ann just said about the survey. That survey to me was not based in reality. How many people were really served by, how many people really knew about that survey across the district? Certainly, people at the fitness center did not know about it. There was no posting of a sign at the fitness center that said, please check into the survey, put your opinions and your votes in. And I know my request that the fit not be sold to the Y was never included in those comments. So where was that when the staff presented that to you, council members, that night? Secondly, the council has subsidized the pool, Palmer Hills, the Children's Museum, as well as the FIT over the years. I know that they've had to have some additional funding for those things, but the FIT has not been any more of a financial burden than those others. And Palmer Hills has had in the last 3 years over 1.2 million of a project improvements given to it. So I think that is very well supported. So why isn't there money to support the fitness center? Thirdly, I question what support the Bettendorf citizens would give to the Splash Landing project if they knew that almost $5.4 million, or 100% of the COVID money that the city is receiving, be used for the pool. This will be spent on something used only 3 months of the year, when so many businesses and families suffered severe financial difficulties during COVID. Do you really think that's a beneficial way to spend that money and for the city's growth? Fourthly, the city financially supports many activities for children and facilities for them every year. There's money spent to maintain our playgrounds, ball diamonds, soccer fields, skateboard park, splash park, again, the family museum, pool, and ice rink. And remember, those students also have access to student facilities by the schools. So I believe that the seniors, the adults at the fitness center deserve money supporting them and the fitness center and their activities for physical and mental health. And as well as for children's programs, because they use it also. I request again that you vote no to closing the FIT. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. All right. Who's next?
Good evening. My name's Ann Kapler. I live at 1436 Antler Court. And I'm happy to be here tonight to speak briefly in support of the project. And I'm going to do that wearing several different hats. So the first hat I'll wear is as a 59-year resident of Bettendorf. When I moved to Bettendorf, we didn't have a swimming pool. About 5 years later, we built Bettendorf Middle Pool. That was a premier facility at that time, and the city embraced the pool. Unfortunately, today, we have an old pool, and it's not a premier facility any longer. I also wear the hat of a 23-year employee of the Red Cross and an 18-year employee at Middle Pool, where safety, teaching swimming lessons, helping people in a river community learn to be safe around the water was a very important goal. So I support the fact that we're moving into a bigger and better pool where that can continue. I also wear the hat of a taxpayer. So I feel like if we can build a $20+ million facility that's used in the summer and the winter without a tax increase, I'm all for it. I also wear the hat of a plan and zone member. I am used to people getting up here and talking forever, Your Honor, but I will try to keep my comments.
Yes, you are, dear. Thank you for your service.
Welcome. Although I do feel like I've earned a little extra time by all the time I've listened. This project fits 100% with the comprehensive plan that the city has developed. I've worked on the last 2 comprehensive plans, and the goal of promoting recreational and cultural activity fits exactly with this new project.
Will you stay for number 11 to make sure that you're part of the 3rd review of the comprehensive use plan?
I don't know if I can do that or not. I also like the fact that it's an infill project. So now we're maintaining a core recreational facility in the center of the city where it's the most convenient and provides the best service. And the final hat I'm wearing tonight is as a Scott County Regional Authority board member. So there was a comment earlier about calling to have people vote for riverboat gambling back in the 90s. And the money from that goes into the Scott County Regional Authority. And they have approved a significant amount of money to support this project. The board discussed this over several meetings, not because it was controversial, because it's the largest project that Scott County Regional Authority has funded in its history. And so we wanted to be sure that we gave it very thorough consideration. And ultimately, it was a unanimous vote. And one of the key factors was the collaboration with the Y and the opportunity to have that facility available to so many people. So from my perspective, I feel like this is a win for the community. It's a win for the taxpayers. It's a win for the city staff and for the city budget, and I support it 100%.
Thank you, Ann. Again, thank you for your service in our community.
Why, it's free. Any other member of the city of Bettendorf is not.
My name's Katie Lampion. I live at Crown Place in Bettendorf. This is the first time I've done this, so please be patient. I have used we've lived in Davenport over 50 years, and I use the fitness center every morning.
Thank you, Donna.
I use the fitness center every morning from 5 until 6. And I did hear that one of the council members had said that all they do is socialize. I guess you don't know the difference between socialization and visiting. We visit, we don't socialize. We visit, which is far more important than socializing. Second of all, I felt that, I felt like maybe we were back in Germany where everything was secret, under the table. Some people got it, some people didn't, just different things. And I didn't like it. I've never belonged to any kind of an organization, whether it's secret or you have to vote on who can come or who can't, because everyone's welcome at the fitness center, age bracket, whatever. And I really think you're making a big mistake, because first of all, one of the most important things, excuse me, that you have completely left out the elderly, and I can say that because I'm 89, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm probably the oldest person in this room. And I just think you've shortchanged us completely. And I realize not everyone is 89, but I am 89, and I like the fitness center, and I like what it does. I like the people that work for. And if you combine this with the Y, I can guarantee you, you will not find the people manning the Y like you do at the fitness center. And I think it would be a terrible mistake. Well, it'll be a terrible mistake to me, and I'm very selfish because I love the fitness center. But look at all the elderly. You've really thrown us under the bus. That's just the way I feel. And granted, I do ice skate, which is wonderful, and I like ice skating, but you use a swimming pool 3 months out of the year. What are you going to do with that pool the other 9 months when it's cold, or like when it's coming tomorrow, it's going to be cold? Can you use a swimming pool? Or how many of you people use a swimming pool? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Katie. Anybody else wish to be heard?
Yes, sir. My name is Patrick Larkin. I live at 2002 Mississippi Boulevard, and I'm speaking in support of the proposal for the following reasons. Strategic planning is one of my passions. And when you have premier city in your title, it has a certain connotation to it. The city is in a state of transition, I believe, to meet that mandate of being a premier city. There's a new bridge, there's new parks going in, there's new projects going on. You see them happening all over the place. And there's an opportunity now to upgrade the Life Fitness Center and the water park to 21st century infrastructure as we transition into the new century. There's also an important timing aspect here for strategic partnerships, with private partnerships, with public partnerships, and with the city's intention of being a partner in this as well. Also, the city is trying to solve problems. One thing government does not do well or could do better is solving problems. The nonprofits and private sector do a much better job at deploying capital and solving problems than government. So due to the opportunity now, the timing now, that this project solves more problems than it creates, I am confident that the people in this room that disagree with my opinion, that the problems will be solved as time moves forward. There will be other opportunities developed to meet these needs and concerns. And the time is now to move ahead with 21st century infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you also for your service on our parks and other committees.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Randy Childers. I live at 3050 Southampton Drive. I want to start out tonight with a quote from the famous author Robert Burns. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. What this means is no matter how well planned one may feel about their plans, they still fall apart due to circumstances outside of their control. We all know what Plan A is from Decker's presentation. What is Plan B when Plan A fails? What is Plan C when Plan B fails? How can you vote tonight without knowing the answer to those two questions. Has the city council seen any documents or agreements securing private donations, or has this been all verbal? How can you be 100% sure private donations without an agreement from donors? Cost overruns will 100% happen with the current economic inflation situation. Then we get to value engineering. What this means, the project is scaled back a number of times to meet the budget. The wish list at some point becomes a glorified version of the pool we already currently have. This is what 466 citizens wanted when they took the survey and voted in favor of the outdoor water park, which will only be open for 2.5 months a year. Remember, 1,200 citizens voted for an indoor water park. I've heard a few people say that they don't play tennis or pickleball, and they say, let's sell the fitness center. My comment back to them is, I don't play golf, let's sell Palmer Hills. This is one of the most important things I will say tonight. There are hundreds of senior citizens who have used the Life Fitness Center every week for over 20 years or longer. Are you willing to vote yes tonight to take the fitness center away from this group? The tennis and pickleball community has 24 months of guaranteed playing time according to the agreement. Where do they play inside after the 24 months is over? I have not heard any city official address this issue, and I ask, what's the plan? Where is the guarantee of indoor tennis pickleball on the Iowa side? At this time, there is none. I ask you, how can you vote with no plan? At this time, I'd like to share a video with you that we have of some tennis players at the fitness center. As you can see, we have a group of young tennis players that play at the fitness center at weekly clinics. There are over 200 of our youth tennis players who participate in clinics every week. Are you willing to vote yes tonight and take this away from these tennis players? In closing, over 40 times in the past several months, somebody has addressed the city council to keep the fitness center as is. Up until tonight, there has not been a single person that has stood up and said to you that they wanted to sell the fitness center. Tonight is the most important vote you will make in years. What will the city council of 2022's legacy be? What will each council member's legacy be? Will you vote yes and be a failed government which does not support its senior citizens, which does not support the senior and youth tennis and pickleball players? I ask you to do the right thing and vote no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Randy. Anybody else wish to be heard?
Hi, my name is Sue Johnson, 2360 Renwood Court in Bettendorf, and I've been here many times before supporting the fitness center, so you all know me and know what I'm going to say, and I'm not going to belabor it. I would like to ask you to please consider voting no tonight on the sale of the fitness center to the Y. I think a lot of people have made valid points tonight, and if Bettendorf is a premier city, I would like to see it be a premier city for us old people too, because the fitness center is someplace that I go to every day for everything, for fitness, for tennis, for pickleball, not for socialization, but I have done rehab there from injuries. I see people there that you're not going to see going to other places, but the city of Bettendorf offers a wonderful facility for everybody who can use it all year round, 12 months out of the year. There were a couple points made tonight that I was going to make, and I'm going to make them anyway, even though they've already been said. The survey that was done, I was here when you presented the results of the survey, and there were an awful lot of people that wanted an indoor pool facility built instead of a 3 months out of the year wacky waters, I guess I will call it that. No offense. But if we're going to spend all this money Wouldn't it be nice if we could do what the citizens of Bettendorf really want and put in a facility that we can use 12 months out of the year instead of something that's going to just sit there most of the year and everybody's going to be sad that the fitness center is gone? I would like to just encourage you, please, to consider the people that you've heard here tonight, the people who've spoken over the last however many years, because I know this is like a golden opportunity to finally get rid of the fitness center, but please don't. It's an amazing asset for this city. It's not a liability, and there are a lot of people that really use it and depend on it. And I appreciate your listening to all of us tonight, and we all appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Nice to see you. Anybody else wish to be heard?
First of all, as an educator, thanks for the education over the last few months of municipal government. It's, I know a lot about government, but not like local. I learned a lot. Thank you. My name is Randy Brockage. I'm at 220 Benton Street, LeClaire. I'm also the boys tennis coach at Pleasant Valley for the last 32 years. The indoor, year-round Bettendorf Life Fitness Center has served the Bettendorf community and the surrounding areas for decades. Thousands of families, from young to our seniors, have depended on the Fit for their fitness needs for decades, and it's still important to these people today. You may not know this, but there are not many communities in the state, the whole state, with indoor tennis or pickleball courts. You don't see them. That location, that building, those courts, and the entire facility is very valuable. And that's not only a monetary value. As you've heard from so many people here today, it's just a really great essential value to so many people. And it's valuable just like Palmer Hills is, the Family Museum and the library. They're all major amenities to this city, and please recognize that. Proposing the complete and total loss of an indoor year-round fitness gem like the Bettendorf Fitness Center in exchange for spending a large amount of resources on a seasonal outdoor water park and ice rink, it's just not right. I don't have an issue with, like many people, with exploring those other items, but don't lose a fitness center to do it. I think that's unconscionable. We understand why the Y wants the Fit. It's a great location, it's a great building. But we also know that a very large portion of the Bettendorf community still wants the Fit as well. It's very clear to us who the potential losers are in the city's proposal. And you're looking at some of them tonight. But there are many more, and now and into the future, if you vote yes. Why does there have to be a loser, and why is the fitness center and the many citizens of Bettendorf who utilize the Life Fitness Center being made to be the losers in this proposal? Why? The Y is clearly the winner. I believe you're voting on behalf of the Y or the residents of Bettendorf, and some of you may soon be choosing the Y over the residents, and it doesn't make any sense to many of us. I've listened to so many compelling reasons for so many citizens, and each represents the perspectives of so many more who haven't come to a city council meeting. You know what I haven't heard till tonight? I haven't heard one person suggest that it's a great idea to sell the fitness center to the Y. Where is the support for this full proposal? The outdoor water park hasn't even received that much support. The indoor idea was popular. People are still wondering what's up with Splash Landing. I'm not really sure. As far as my particular niche, as a high school tennis coach for the past few decades, I know the Fit has been huge to the tennis community as well as the Bettendorf and PV boys and girls tennis programs. Also importantly, the Fit has made tennis affordable in this community. And the Fit has helped make tennis a true lifetime fitness activity that many people can play because of the affordability you offer. In the high school tennis world, there are haves and have-nots. I've seen it in 32 years. Both PV and Bettendorf have been haves for years, thanks in large part to the fit. This proposal would result in the Bettendorf community moving from being one of the haves to one of the have-nots. And some of you are actually going to help make that happen with your vote. Premier City, a have-not. Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and a few other cities will love this. I believe this community still supports the fit and its indoor fitness activities. Do you know until recently an Iowa, Illinois population of over 200,000 have utilized 12 indoor courts? That is currently down to 9. So there were 9 over at the
Wrap it up, Randy.
at the Quad City Tennis Club, and there were 3 here. If we lose these 3, and there've already been 3 lost over there, there'll be 6. The town of Clinton, Iowa, has 4 indoor courts. For comparison, please consider this. What if the residents of Bettendorf didn't have adequate access to soccer and football fields, basketball courts, wrestling rooms, Mr. Mayor? What happens by the time our kids are in high school? This is Bettendorf. I grew up here. It just hurts me. If you vote yes, you're fundamentally and adversely impacting the health and fitness choices of thousands of current and future Bulldogs and Spartans. I get it. I know the city has already been working on this plan for a long time, but what matters more than that, doing the right thing for the many citizens who use the fitness center. I know it might be a hard vote for some, but it's the right vote. The tragedy is, too, I'm not convinced that you even need the Y's involvement to build the water park and the ice rink, or certainly don't need the sale of the fitness center.
Close it up for me, Randy.
I've
Please.
got very short little bit here. Thank you. Now, I would understand if tennis players, pickleball players, basketball players, joggers wanted to build a very expensive and new facility. We're not asking for anything new. I'm sure there's pressure to vote as a team since this is a City of Bettendorf plan, but your vote is more important, and here's your team over here, your constituents, and the many others we represent. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Anybody else wish to speak? All right. Well, let's close that public hearing. We'll move to a resolution. This is for Councilmember Nauman, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a resolution approving the lease of certain city-owned real property pursuant to a shared use agreement with the YMCA of the Iowa-Mississippi Valley. I move approval of the resolution.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's open up for discussion from council. Before we do that, Decker, this is something that you put together for staff. Do you have any other further comment based upon the comments you heard at the public hearing? Or do you want folks to start to deliberate? What's your pleasure? You brought this to us.
Well, first off, Your Honor, I'd like to just refute a couple of the comments that were made relative to the transparency. When we started this work with the Y almost a year ago, and we started discussions early in February, we had a meeting with our staff, and we indicated they were likely going to get questions from residents, from fitness center members, and it was okay to tell them that we were in discussions with the Y. We didn't know where those discussions were going to go, but we did not tell anyone. They couldn't tell people what was going on, but they weren't privy to any of the deal because there wasn't a deal yet. We were working on a deal. So for anyone to say that the staff was directed not to say anything is false. It's untrue. Our staff was told they could tell members, and in fact, members started coming here in May to the city council and have been coming to the city council since May, asking the council about what deal might have potential or what's going to happen. So, and those people that were coming here were told by members of our staff that there were discussions going on. We were still then in deep discussions with the Y. So, Annie, I take great umbrage of all the things in my life that I'm the most proud of. It's my integrity. And I've been here 48 years. And it is the strongest thing that I feel. And all of that is untrue. Our people were told they could tell what they knew, but they didn't know much. But they were certainly not discouraged from telling members. And the mere fact that people were here since May tells us that there was transparency. They didn't know the deal, but we were working on a deal. That's true. When we talk about the pickleball and our interest in pickleball, we've constructed 15 new pickleball courts in this community to the tune of $3 million that the city has put in and matched the SCRA grants along with both Bettendorf schools and with Pleasant Valley schools. They're outdoor courts, they're not indoor courts, but the council has great influence in that. Another statement that was made is that we won't have the kind of recreation that we have today. 80% of our recreation staff time is based on activities that are outdoors, not indoors. 80% of our activities. Where our staff are located is almost irrelevant to where the activities are located. So putting them back at the fitness or at the community center to run recreation programs is appropriate, and the recreation programs will stay where they're at today. We aren't changing any of our recreation programs that are outdoor. In fact, we'll probably have enhancements. The potential sale to the Y will add 400 to 500 to 600 activities or children in a facility that will be run by the Y. But the youth activities will still occur in our city. It just won't be done by us. So we're not abandoning the youth of our community. In fact, their activities will be enhanced by this purpose. So as part of those comments, the other thing I want to point out is that the fitness center has been a source of conversation at this table for over almost 20 years. And in the last 4 years, I mentioned this when we started this, our memberships have gone from 1,350 to 856. 25 years ago, we had 3,000 members. The Y came into being, other fitness centers came into being, and the market has changed. Clearly, the market is outside of the fitness center environment. That is very true. Any one of you can go to fitness centers all over the place. It's not the place you go to, but there are plenty of fitness center environments, and the Y itself has over 1,500 members in Bettendorf, and they're Bettendorf residents. We talked about this almost 5 years ago. The council gave us direction to look at a new facility. And we did look at a new facility. We hired a consultant, brought them in to look at a new recreation center, a new pool, and proposed it at the same site that we're talking about now. After that study, we determined that the consultant indicated that we would gain membership if we built a brand new recreation center for $33 million, while we were subsidizing this one for roughly $425,000 at that time. And we just didn't believe those numbers. And we still don't believe those numbers, to be perfectly honest with you. And the council decided that we would consider moving to a new pool and not move on with a new recreation center. If this deal happens, the city will have a new $18 to $20 million facility just in water, not frozen water. And we will leverage $4.6 million of the WISE money, $6 million of ARPA funds that we have. We have $5 million committed, Randy, in writing from two foundations, the SCRA and the RDA. We have 3 other grants that we're asking another $2.5 million for, that we're getting very good vibrations from. We believe that we'll be leveraging at least $6 million of private money, $4.5 million of Y money. We wouldn't get that anyplace else. That would not be matched by anyone else. And we will save, or we can reallocate, $300,000 today of fitness center dollars and $200,000 that we currently lose in the pool that the Y is going to assume the losses of. That's $500,000 a year, conservatively, that we will not spend on this operation, these operations. So as we think about all of this, Your Honor, I remember when the old Lincoln Center, which housed the Lincoln Center for Performing Arts, and the old Children's Museum was in Washington School on Mississippi Boulevard, and we talked about going to a new facility up at the Learning Campus and doubling the size of the library. And we had a number of council members and citizens indicate to us that we didn't want to take on that new obligation. And if it wasn't for that vision that occurred, we wouldn't have the library we have today. We wouldn't have the museum we have today. And I dare say we wouldn't have the kind of offerings we have today. This offering will create a state-of-the-art water park that we could not build on our own, and that will give us a new frozen landing and will still allow for the youth of our community to be well-served in an operation that will be at the same location it is, but run by someone else. So the staff feels very strongly that this is a good deal for the city, and we believe that you should consider passing this resolution.
All right, thank you. Let's open up some discussion. Councilmember Connors, please.
I'm comfortable with the shared use agreement. I think Chris did a great job of taking care of the concerns that various city council members had in the agreement. I do have one question. Has the Y ratified the agreement yet?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
The question is, has the Y ratified the agreement yet?
We'll do it tomorrow after you guys vote tonight,
Oh, thanks, Brad.
electronic vote.
There would not be any expected material changes in the agreement? Okay,
Answer is no.
thank you.
Any material changes would come back to you. It would be a new agreement.
Right.
Yeah. Council members Adamson or Brown, anything to add?
Can I add just a little history?
Pull your mic down.
Just a little history to kind of what Decker was adding before that. And Greg and I were both on park board, but after I had gotten in council, and I know Ann and I shared this over the phone quite a bit, and it was under a previous mayor, we had looked at the Life Fitness Center as far as some of the issues back then, and it was under a previous director of Parks and Rec because it was having issues then. We had put a task force together, and it was made up of seniors, swimmers, tennis players, and that type of thing. And our charge was to bring back suggestions on the fitness center. And that was the point. I think the Y had just come to town, and we had asked that director of parks to meet with the Y and kind of collaborate and see if there was areas we could partner up, and there was resistance from him to do that. But we were asked to come back to the council, and so I was part of that team, and we came back with some different options. And the council at that point, and we were losing a ton of money back then, but we came back to that previous council, and they had said, you know, here's a couple of years, here's some money, you know, go for it. And back then, the staff there was fantastic, and the previous director of specifically the fitness center did some things, brought that deficit down, and did some great things. Well, I think she retired, but, and then it was under that director of Parks and Rec, but it just, you know, huge issues after that. And then like Decker said, a bunch of the private clubs opened and that type of thing. But I know with me, and depending on how the vote goes tonight, I've had a difficult time looking at this, being on the park board, being on that committee. I played tennis my freshman, sophomore year of college, so listening to the tennis group, you know, it's been hard to listen to. I was gonna add, it's gonna be difficult. The why, you know, we've heard a lot from, you know, the challenges as far as, hey, why, let's do this. So they've heard that. I've heard positives. I know there was somebody made a comment of, you know, there's been nobody with a positive comment. I've heard, you know, pluses as far as moving forward, and some of those comments were from people that have been fitness center members and Y members, and they had positives for both groups. So anyway, just kind of want to give you that history, but and my vote tonight is not, somebody had made comments of, you know, you guys are voting in favor of the Y. It's not. We're looking at the citizens in Bettendorf, and we're looking at our situation and what's best for the citizens. So that's my comments.
Councilmember Adamson, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Your Honor. several years ago, when the riverboat opened and then went to land, we were guaranteed a certain amount of money from gambling, and it was used exclusively to cover the shortfalls in several accounts, such as the golf course, the fitness center, pool. Over the years, that money's dried up, and over the last several budgets, we've had to move those costs to the property taxes. And I don't see that money increasing. And so I think I have a fiduciary responsibility to all the citizens of Bettendorf to try to keep the property taxes as low as possible. And so I'm supporting this sale, and I just think it's just the right thing to do for the taxpayers of this community. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Baden, I'm just kind of going in a route.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because everybody probably wants to say something.
Like Councilwoman Brown and Councilmember Adamson, I came to the council from the park board. One of the things that I was trying to get on the table and possibly have happen was a pool community center referendum. The timing just couldn't have been worse. We had the school district coming up with a referendum of their own. Chances of 2 referendums passing are about nil, and then COVID hit. During the same time, I seriously thought we could get a pool built, and that's what we're looking at. A number of you in the audience tonight have called me, and I've talked to you, and I told you at the time I didn't know exactly where I stood on the issue at this point because I didn't know anything about it at that point. And when I told you that, I was telling you the truth. But some of the conversations went back and forth for the period of an hour or more. And I've got to hear what everybody had to say. But I think because we can do this effort with the Y, not have to go through a referendum and not have to raise the taxes of the people in Bettendorf, I think that's a sound move to make. And for that reason, I'll be voting in favor of the selling of the fitness center. Thank you.
Councilmember Sexer.
Thank you, Your Honor. A couple weeks ago, on August 28th, Quad City Times ran an article on what's the leading causes of death in the Quad City area. And heart disease and cancer were the number 1 and number 2 reasons for death in our area. A few weeks later, on August 24th, JMA came out with results of a study. The National Cancer Institute did a study of 272,000 people between the ages of 59 and 82. And the results of that study was that exercise was very important. And the number 1 recommended sport was racket sports. It had the highest return for cardiovascular disease. The number 2 was running, and number 3 was walking. I find it difficult to take that we're going to close the fitness center that has the number 1, 2, and 3 functions that prevent death of the seniors, and we're going to close it. It seems sort of hypocritical to me. Likewise, Bettendorf is a member of we've signed up for Healthy Hometowns. 35% of Iowans are obese. And while it's good that all these fitness centers are around, I think we need as many fitness centers as possible. The fact that we have hundreds of people using our fitness center, even though these other places are out there, and the fitness center is probably no cheaper than any other facility, is a testament to the staff, to the quality of our facility. And therefore, I think I'm going to have to vote no because I'm against selling the fitness center. I think the pool is a good idea. I agree with the city administrator that we need to have vision forward, and a new pool is a good idea. I think we could have got it without getting rid of the fitness center. So I will be voting no, and I would recommend that my fellow councilmen consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Nauman, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Very, very emotional process, and I'm so grateful that all of you came out and worked very hard and were very well organized with your thought and your process. There's so many countless hours and a lot of agonizing going on your side. I took the seat in the first week of January in 2010. And as luck would have it, my neighbors are Jack and Marie Hermy. Jack happens to be in the audience tonight. So here's an article in the Quad City Times from February 9th, 2010. So right into the fire. It says, Bettendorf gaming funds capped, amenities reviewed. And through this, it talks about the financial impact. And then Mayor Freemeyer talked about, and there's another one from 2005 here before my time that talks about Bettendorf's gym struggles to regain lost memberships and how it was so important that that amenity pay for itself. But Jack's wife, Marie, right after I was elected, she came over and this hit the paper and she said, don't touch the fitness center. And I still sort of, as you can see, shake a little bit when I relive that moment. But nobody really wanted to do that. And through the course of, there was several, I think we're on our third or fourth task force. And as we look at the room and you see, this is a great place. This is an amazing amenity for us. And the numbers kept going. I think as we challenged former Director Grimes, we'll support you with marketing. We'll support you with ideas. Work with the park board. Come up with new ways to recruit people. Go find more of yourselves. And at that time, it honestly was about financial impacts and gaming funds being capped, but we have fought that off for 12 years. So I said, and I've said to my colleagues a number of times in goal setting when this has come up, it's gonna take something pretty special, something pretty significant for me to change my mind on fighting for the fitness center. I don't see how this city, with the partnerships that have been put together and the money that's come together, I don't see how we ever overcome a vote against this transaction. It has nothing to do with the people in the room and nothing to do so much about the financial part of this. But if we make this decision and we open up the doors of possibility to what we can become, what we can build after that, this is not the final chapter in the Bettendorf fitness book. We are at a critical part in the middle of the book, but if we start talking about a new community center, a new fitness amenity, what evolves after this, how people recreate post-COVID, maybe some of you that have never been in the Y, there's very different amenities from the Utica Ridge to the Devil's Glen property, and technology evolves all the time. But I agree with you that this council and this administration has a responsibility to support senior recreation, to support youth amenities, and even the article today talked about this new children early learning center and the adventure course and the ninja stuff. We don't have that today. We'll gain that for the youth of the community, and I'm grateful for the collaboration because I think we can write a big future, but not if we're stuck in the past, not if we're stuck in the present, and I just can't get over the financial collaboration that's come together. It took a lot of hard work to put that together, and I'm voting for it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none. Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Nay?
Adamson.
Aye.
All right.
Forgot somebody.
Oh, Baden.
Welfare check, please. Aye.
Thank
So
you.
the resolution
So sorry.
approving the lease of city-owned real property pursuant to the shared use agreement with the YMCA of the Mississippi Valley has passed 5-1. We move to the public hearing with regard to the sale of the real estate, and I know many of you spoke on that. That's totally fine because they're interrelated. Michelle, did we publish notice of this public hearing?
Yes, we did, Your Honor, and I do have affidavit of publication.
You also have the written correspondence we received that
Yes,
everybody here has
same.
received. Nothing new came in
Correct.
on this afternoon or anything,
Correct.
did it? Okay. All right, then let's open the public hearing with regard to the sale of the real estate at 2222 Middle Road, commonly known as the Life Fitness Center. And again, if you've already talked about selling the fitness center, we heard you. If there's anybody here who wishes to be heard on this item, you may do so by approaching the podium, state your name and your address. We'd like to hear from you.
Yes, my name's Kevin Peterson. I live at 4150 East 60th Street, Davenport. I moved over, my wife and I, to Bettendorf in '77 and downsized in 2016. I spoke briefly before. Back in 1972, I started playing tennis at the Fit Center when I lived over in Moline. Both sides of the river at that time were coming over here and using the facility for high school tennis, take lessons and everything. My grandson takes lessons there now. I've been involved in the tennis community for years. I know you've talked about briefly up there, I heard, discussions of trying to get things going with the community center over the years. It seems like the people that have really been involved in tennis were never notified to say, let's get tennis players together to discuss
telling
what
Lynn.
can be done to increase membership and involvement in the fitness center. Right now, the fitness center has the largest youth program in the city. They're not getting much over at the Quad City Tennis Club, so they're desperate over there. So you're doing most of the education in tennis with the youth right now. Pickleball's become a big sport, and I heard Mr. Plain talk about the facilities that have been built here in Bettendorf. Yeah, they're good facilities. I play at Kiwanis Park, which needs to be resurfaced. They're in pretty bad shape. We've tried to play out at Forest Grove, but without windscreens, it's just a wind tunnel out there, so it's really hard to play. I know the Wise talked about with the Fit Center, combining tennis and pickleball, you're gonna have a collision there of morning tennis players and morning pickleball players. There's usually a large group of pickleball players that play in the morning and a group of tennis players. And when you're sharing the courts, it's just gonna be hard to do something about. I also belong to the Quad City Pickleball Club. Some of the funding that's gone into these parks has come from the Quad City Pickleball Club too. For Kiwanis Park, I run those parks for the club over there, and we bought blowers over there. We bought new brooms. We bought roll dries. We've done everything we can, so we're putting money into it. Our president originally bought the nets because the nets were so bad last year, and I'm not sure if the city reimbursed him for that or if the pickleball club decided to do it because we couldn't get anything done right off the bat for those nets. So, I mean, there's money that needs to be filtered out more into these other areas too if you're going to get rid of the fitness center. But I think the fitness center, my wife, she runs 4 miles a day. She can't do it indoors at the Y because it's such a small track, it zigzags around and the walkers don't get out of the way. Where at the Fit Center, she's able to run her laps because the walkers have their lanes and the runners have their lanes. And she has no problem there doing the training. So I'm sure there's other runners in the Quad Cities that would use that too. I didn't get up and speak briefly about the Y buying the pool. The only thing I want to bring up about that is who's going to fund security. I talked to the CEO and he told me there's probably no security problems, but I am a retired probation parole officer here out of Davenport, and you build it, it'll come, and there'll be some problems. There has been 2 shots fired before at the pool over the years. And so I just think as you bring in more people, larger amounts of kids, you're going to have a lot more trouble. It's just something that the city's going to have to look at, who will be funding support of police at that point. But for the Y, I think selling that, the fitness center to them is not a good idea because I think with the older generation, I hate to say the elderly because I'm in that age group and I still like to feel I'm young, but I think meeting there, getting to know people, that socialization, the mental and physical is so good for the older generation to have. And if we don't have a place to go like that, and you're sitting at home, mentally and physically, you start going downhill. So I just hope that you would keep the Fit Center and let Bettendorf support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Anybody else wish to be heard? Okay, we'll close that public hearing. We'll move to a resolution. Councilmember Baden, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving the sale of real estate located at 2222 Middle Road, Bettendorf, Iowa, commonly known as the Life Fitness Center. I move approval of the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion here? Last time I went that way. I'll go this way this time. You want to, Councilmember Nauman, Councilmember Sexer? Go ahead, Councilmember Sexer.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make a comment that one of my responsibilities is to represent the First Ward. And of all the people I've talked to in the First Ward about this project, only 2 people have indicated to me real support for the project, and nobody has asked me to close the fitness center. On the contrary, everybody in my ward that I talked to, and I've had a lot of phone calls, a lot of people stop me in the grocery store, I see them out in the neighborhood, they all want to keep the fitness center. And you know, this is a follow-up. We had goal setting last year, and when Sarah Watson interviewed the city administrator, and it showed up in the Quad City Times on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, what the results were. The quote here from the paper is, "The potential for a new Bettendorf pool is back on the table, but the city council has committed to keeping the Life Fitness Center intact," plain said. Thank you.
Councilmember Baden, anything to add?
No, sir.
Councilmember Adamson?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We have goal setting once a year, and a couple months ahead of time, we get a questionnaire, and it asks, what have we done last year that was good? What didn't we get done? What are we looking at for the next year, 5 years? And I don't know about my other council people, but a lot of my, what do I want to get done in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, was a community center that would serve the elderly, meetings, places to go play cards other than at the grill. This isn't like Councilman Nauman said, this isn't we're not done with this. But this is an opportunity. I think we have to get it while we can get it. And we're aware of what some of the needs are of the community, and it's going to get worked on soon. We're having this month, I believe.
We're going to be locked together for 3 days?
3
Coming up
days, yeah.
2 weeks.
So anyway, we're hearing you, but I couldn't in good conscience not support this proposal.
Councilmember Brown, anything to add? Councilmember Connors, please.
Okay, my last comments were relative specifically to Resolution 7,
Yes,
which
sir.
we're voting on. So now that we're talking about the sale of Life's Fitness Center, I'll make some comments. I appreciate everybody that got in contact with me. Took a lot of phone calls, got a lot of texts, talked to people in person, a lot of emails, and I apologize if I didn't get back to each and every one, but I do have a life separate from the city council once in a while, so, and it's somewhat busy. When I look at the fitness center, and I was an employee of the city for 21 years, been a council member for almost 4, the fitness center has been discussed and discussed and discussed. And, you know, there was always a directive to get back, let's figure out how we can make this more viable. It just really never happened. And, you know, I'm very concerned about the senior citizens. I don't know what age that kicks in at, but if it kicks in at 69, I'm a senior citizen, so. I agree with Greg. We need to do something for our seniors. We need to talk about it at goal setting. I don't think the fitness center as it stands today is going to be viable going forward. It might have another 3-4 years viability, whereas the pool will be 25 or 30 year viability. And the ability to do something like this without a burden on the taxpayers it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I appreciate all the comments, but I will vote in favor of the sale of the Life Fitness Center.
Anything based on that? Any further comments from anybody? Okay, Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Nay?
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
All right. That resolution also passes 5-1. We'll move to the next resolution. This is with regard to the amendment number 1 for the landing final design and RDG planning and design. We've got this explained to us last night. Does anybody have questions about what we're trying to do for Mr. Morlock or anybody else who presented last night? Okay, Councilmember Brown, please help us with this resolution.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving Amendment 1 for the landing final design with RDG Planning and Design. Move approval of this resolution.
Second.
Any discussion here? Obviously, we're all in favor of kind of re-looking at it. Okay, Councilmember Sexer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Since we've approved moving forward with the project, I will be a yes on this.
Okay. Further discussion?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what he said.
Maybe we all should bring, I know there's other thing, but bring your microphones a little closer if you can.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
Councilmember Sexer, go ahead again, please.
I said, since it's already been approved that we're moving forward with the pool project, I will have to be a yes on this one.
Any further discussion here? Okay, Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
All right, off to our RDG planning and design for the update of the comprehensive plan and zoning regulations. Any questions after our discussion last night at Committee of the Whole? All right, Councilmember Connors, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract between the city of Bettendorf and RDG Planning and Design for the update of the comprehensive plan. I move approval of the resolution.
Second.
Any discussion here? Okay, hearing none. Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
We have unanimously passed that resolution as well. We move to number 12, and the staff is recommending a waiving of the second and third readings. If there's a council person who's willing to make that motion, let's take that up first before we take to the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to waive the second and third readings and a second. Michelle, please call the roll on that motion.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
All right, second and third readings have been waived. Now we'll move to Councilmember Sexer to present the first, second, third, final reading.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have the first and final reading of an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 1 of the City Code of the City of Bettendorf, Iowa, by adding a new section 4-1-7, applicability of the Iowa Code, Chapter 657A. I move approval of the ordinance at its final reading.
Second.
Any discussion here? Something we discussed in goal setting, a good tool for the toolbox. Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
We have unanimously approved that ordinance. We move to two second readings. The first is for Councilmember Adamson, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a second reading of an ordinance amending the city code of the city of Bettendorf, Iowa by repealing city code section 10-4A-2, non-uniform amendments. I move approval of the ordinance at its second reading.
Second.
Any discussion here? Second reading, we've heard it before. We had it at Committee of the Whole. Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Regretfully, aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
That ordinance also unanimously passes. We move to another second reading. Councilmember Sexer, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have the second reading of an ordinance amending Bettendorf City Code, Section 8-1-1, water well construction permit by adding a LUST site at 1740 State Street. I move approval of the ordinance at its second reading.
Second.
Any discussion here? Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
Another unanimous passage. We move to 2 in a row, third and final readings. Councilmember Brown, you've got the first one.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have the third and final reading of an ordinance amending Bettendorf City Code, Section 6-1-131, no parking zones, enumerated by adding a no parking zone on Ontario Drive. I move approval of this ordinance at its final reading.
Second.
Any discussion here on the third and final reading? Michelle, please call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
We have unanimously passed that third and final reading about no parking zones. Our last ordinance is for Councilmember Connors.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a third and final reading of an ordinance amending the Bettendorf, Iowa zone map for 3618 Middle Road, Lot 5, Victor Archer's Edition, A2 Rural Residence District to C2 Community Commercial District. I move approval of the ordinance at its final reading.
Second.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Any discussion here? Seeing none, Michelle, would you call the roll?
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
Another unanimous passage. That's our third and final reading. Please take a look at the consent agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the same at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Any particular item on the consent agenda any council person would like to discuss at this time? Okay, Michelle, please call the roll on consent.
Brown.
Aye.
Connors.
Aye.
Nauman.
Aye.
Sexer.
Aye.
Baden.
Aye.
Adamson.
Aye.
We have unanimously approved each and every item on tonight's consent agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We stand adjourned. Good work, people. Appreciate